Okay, this is a quick look at fast graphs and how some of these metrics work. So I'm looking specifically at the S&P 500. SPX is the spider ETF for the S&P 500. So this is the 500 largest stocks in the U.S. and it's one of the most popular index funds. So it's a good way to look at the index, the market as a whole. Okay, and we're kind of and then what I would do is compare my individual stocks to the S&P 500. So this blue line represents the PE ratio that the market has typically valued the S&P 500 at. In other words, for every dollar in earnings, the E, what price are they willing to pay? Now, historically, way back when, it was something like 15 to 1. And you can see here, yeah, 15 to 1, 15 to 1, 15 to 1. Okay. You can see it's getting higher, 17 to 1, back to 15 to 1. So right now, it is, so if the price were following the recent typical PE valuation people are giving it, the market is giving it, the S&P 500, then the price would be $342. Okay, and you get a PE of 17.2, and I believe this is averaging back over 3 years or something like that. It's a rolling average. Now, right now, though, actually, this black line is the actual price. So right now, the market is valuing the S&P 500 at $23.48 of, of stock price for every dollar of earnings. You could think about that another way as, we'll do a quick calculation. So 1 divided by 23.48, oops, 1 divided by 23.48 means that if you invested $1, you'd get a 4.25% return. You'd get 4.25% earnings. It's not really a return, but you'd get that much earnings. That's crap. It's horrible. I have a loan out right now. I've loaned some money for house construction. It's 6%, and I have the house as collateral. So there's like almost zero risk, and it's a hard asset. I don't have to worry about suddenly tomorrow somebody saying, that 6% loan, we don't think it's really worth that much. It's only worth 3%. So, and then the green here is, I believe, yes, it is. It is what the price would be at a 15 PE ratio. Okay. So, and that, which is the historic average. So if you go back here, you can, the historic average for the stock market is around 15 to 1, which kind of makes sense. Because again, if you do the math, let's do calculation. So if you did 1 over 15, then every dollar of price that you, if the PE ratio were 15, so $15 in price for every dollar of earnings, you flip that over. That means for every dollar you invest, you're getting 6.6%, or 6.6 cents of earnings. So you invest however many dollars, and you're going to get 6.6% in earnings. That's sort of the historic, also the historic growth in the stock market. So that's sort of a fair price, everything else being equal. So this green line is his historic PE ratio, and the dark green, the orange, is historic. So if the market were valuing it at a 15 PE ratio, then the price should be way down here. It should be 229.80. Instead, it is 43.50. So it is, I don't know, 30% overvalued, 40% overvalued, something like that. Now, one caveat is that PE does not tell the whole story. If you were getting enormous growth, which it looks like we are, right? It looks like we're going to get pretty good growth. In fact, we can click here and jump to there. Oops, hang on. Go to there, to there. And it's not letting me do it. Okay, so we're going from 229.80 to 32.63. So that's about 10%. Well, it's not actually all that great. It's about 10% growth. Um, anyway, if a stock or the stock market were growing really fast, then it's worth a little bit higher PE ratio because you're buying future earnings. But we don't have fantastic. Now we had it here. We went from 2058 to 2980, so that's almost a 50% increase. That's enormous. But it's not growing that much anymore. And so what's happened, I would argue, is that the stock market went up realistically here, saying, hey, look, we're growing earnings. We're buying tomorrow's earnings. The problem is it kept going up, even though now we're projecting that earnings are leveling off. The price is eventually should level off as well, but we've got a feeding frenzy. So anyway, that's just an explanation of the orange, the blue, and the black lines.